give you guys a little bit of insight as to what you can expect in nursing school. Listen, let me tell you something. 2 years may seem like a long time. It is going to go by so fast. Hey everyone, I wanted to bring you guys a new video so you guys can have a little bit of insight as to what you can expect when you begin nursing school, and also what you can do to prepare for the program. This video might benefit you if you just applied to nursing school, or you just got accepted and you start next semester and you want to know what you can expect. And I actually made a list and I thought of everything I could have possibly thought about to make sure that this video is helpful and that it makes your start to nursing school a little bit less hectic. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Be sure to comment, share, and subscribe, and let's get started. I would say your first semester of nursing school and your last semester of nursing school is always the most expensive. Your first semester always starts off with a bunch of fees. And I'm not saying that to like scare you guys. I'm just saying that so you guys can know now to save up. These are some fees you can expect to pay. So first, you're going to pay a deposit fee. This is pretty much a fee that the nursing program requires you to pay in order to hold your seat in the program. A lot of times people will get accepted, but they won't actually start. So they'll have you to pay a deposit fee to secure your seat. The cost may vary depending on the school. I've seen prices from $50 to $250. It really just depends. You can also expect to pay for uniforms with the school logo on it. And they are usually very hideous, but there are some nursing schools who have really cute uniforms. Mine was not one of them. Do you expect to buy a stethoscope if you don't have one already? So most schools do recommend that you get a Littmann stethoscope. It's not necessarily required, but a lot of schools, I know my school, they did recommend it, but of course, some students just got what they could afford. I will say, in my opinion, if you get a Littmann stethoscope, it is a really good investment because 9 times out of 10 that will be the same stethoscope you carry with you into your nursing career. So you should definitely save up for that if you don't have a stethoscope yet. Books, do you expect to pay for books? This could be the electronic copy or the hard copy, which I'll discuss that a little bit more in detail in a few. And a computer. So when I took my prerequisites, we were all taking our exams on paper. So when I got to nursing school and found out that we take all of our exams on a computer, that was a huge shock for me. But yeah, most nursing schools require their students to take their exams on a computer now. So make sure you have a working laptop. It doesn't have to be a fancy laptop. People in my nursing class, we've had MacBooks, HPs. I mean, I'm assuming that if you've made it this far to apply to nursing school, you probably already have one. But I would say make sure that your laptop is reliable. Now, if you can't afford a laptop, I would reach out to the student life department at your school, because sometimes schools do let you borrow laptops until you can afford a working laptop. In addition to that, you will also likely pay for an exam software. So this would be the software that you would download at the beginning of the semester, and you would take all of your exams on that exam software. So I know the one we used in nursing school was called ExamSoft, and we would have to pay for ExamSoft every semester. So it does not last you the entire year. So that's another expense you can expect to pay each semester throughout your nursing school journey. So if your school uses Lippincott, you'll likely pay for an access code for the course. Unfortunately, this is another one of those each semester expenses because the access code is based on the course that you're in. But this access code gives you all books related to the course, quizzes that are graded by the instructor, online simulations, practice questions, case studies. So let's just say you're in Fundamentals of Nursing this semester, you pay for the Fundamentals of Nursing access code, but next semester you start Med-Surg, you would pay for the Med-Surg access code. Unfortunately, but that's why I'm doing this video, to help you guys get prepared ahead of time. 2, as crazy as it may sound, health insurance. Now this may not be your school, but our school asked us for a copy of our health insurance card. But just to prepare, I would suggest that you do get health insurance. It doesn't have to be fancy health insurance. You can get on your parents' plan, or you can apply for free health insurance. CPR certification. You will also need a CPR card. Now, a lot of schools prefer American Heart Association and I think American Red Cross. CPR certification. Now, I will say this, if you're watching this video and you do not have a CPR card, but you plan on getting one after watching this video, just go ahead and get your BLS certification instead. BLS stands for Basic Life Support. Reason being, you may decide to get a job as a nursing student while you're in the nursing program, and most employers do require you to have your BLS instead of your CPR. Your nursing program is going to require you to have a checkup by your doctor. What they'll do is they'll give you a thick packet full of questions that you take to your doctor to be filled out, and this is usually required to be turned in before you start your first clinical rotation. N95 fit testing. So you will get fit tested for an N95 because they do give nursing students COVID patients now. But before you go and pay a clinic to test you, reach out to your school first, maybe like one of the nursing program coordinators before you do that, because a lot of times what they'll do is have someone from outside to come in and test the nursing students for an N95, and it's done for free. Unfortunately, I paid out of pocket. Okay, so after all of this is done, you finally start class. Listen, let me tell you something. 2 years may seem like a long time. It is going to go by so fast. We already know that nursing school is hectic. We already know that nursing school is demanding. I want to give you guys a little bit of insight as to what you can expect in nursing school, because I think a lot of people do get a little nervous when they think about nursing school because they know that nursing school is demanding. They hear the stories of how hectic it is, but they just sort of fear what they don't know. They don't know what they're walking into, and they just get nervous. So remember when you guys were taking your science courses like your chem, your microbiology, your A&P, and it was divided into theory and lab? It's sort of the same way in nursing school. So you have class or lecture, which is when the instructor teaches you the content, and then you'll have designated days of the week with times that you'll go to lab after your uniforms are delivered, because you'll be required to wear your nursing uniform to lab. So skills testing. So this is where you have learned your first skill in the lab, and then the instructor will grade you to see how well you can perform the skill. You usually have your first skills testing before you start your first clinical rotation. And your first skills testing is usually you taking a manual blood pressure. Your second nursing school skills test usually requires you to complete a full head-to-toe assessment. The first one's typically very simple. Next, you will start clinical. So your first clinical rotation will likely be in a long-term care setting, because your first nursing course is likely going to be fundamentals of nursing. So in a long-term care setting, you would get to see a lot of fundamentals of nursing. So your fundamentals of nursing usually include Foley catheter care, bed baths, toileting, assistance with ADLs, the basics of medication administration, vital signs, colostomy care. In my first clinical rotation in the long-term care setting, I did see a lot of wound care, a lot of G-tube patients, did a lot of glucose checks, and all of that fun stuff. You will have coursework due in your clinical rotation, unfortunately. Depending on your school, you may have clinical assignments due every week. So most likely an essay will be due at the end of your clinical rotation. For your first clinical in the long-term care setting, they usually have you to do something like a spices paper, but something that can be really helpful for you. Try to take notes on things that are prominent to you, things that stick out to you. And then when you do your spices paper or whatever essay you have due at the end of your clinical rotation, you can refer back to those notes to help you write the paper. And speaking of nursing school papers, whenever you are writing a nursing school paper, the best way you can make sure you do everything right is to just go by the rubric. However, don't get so fixated on I wouldn't say don't get fixated on the coursework, but just keep in mind that in nursing school, your exam average is always going to be your priority. Now, don't get me wrong, your other coursework does matter, but in nursing school, you have to maintain a certain exam average to stay in the program. So if you are not meeting that threshold, your papers won't matter, your quizzes won't matter. So let me give you an example of what I mean. So let's just say your nursing school requires you to have a 75% exam average. Let's just say you have a 74% exam average. The nursing program will not add in your papers, your clinical work, your coursework, or your quizzes if you do not meet that threshold. None of that will matter. They won't factor in any other assignments to boost that grade. They only go by the exam average before they factor in all of your coursework. Always make sure your exam average is your priority. But here's where it gets tricky. Let's just say you have a 75% exam average, but your coursework is so bad that it brings your overall grade in the class down. You still fail. As vicious as it may sound, we already know that nursing school is cutthroat, but that's why I'm making this video, to like get you guys prepared. So I would just say prioritize your exams first, coursework second. So let's just say you only have 3 hours of free time after you get off of work. Just study for your exam. The paper can come later. Just study for the exam. Learning how to prioritize is really going to be your best friend in nursing school. Now, somewhere in that first semester, you will take your first dosage exam, and if you're like me and math isn't your favorite subject, these dosage exams are going to be a pest. Reason being is because in nursing school, when you take your dosage exam, you can only get one question wrong. Or as my teacher would say, you only get to harm one of your patients. So most nursing programs allow you to take the dosage exam 3 times, meaning that you have 3 times to pass this exam. And if you do not pass it, unfortunately, you do get put out of the nursing program. I passed on my 3rd try by 1 question. Again, math is not my thing. And that's the thing, like in nursing school, don't beat yourself up about how many times it took you to pass. Don't do that. If you have to fail a semester, it's fine. Just keep going. If you have to take the test more than once or more than twice, it's fine. Just keep going. So if you have not started nursing school yet and you know that math is your weakness, you should try to start practicing your dosage now. So one channel that really helped me when I was struggling with dosage was Nursing SOS. She has tons of videos on her YouTube channel. I think she also offers like free worksheets, so I would definitely check her out if you're struggling with dosage. Now, I should mention this dosage exam, you have to take it every semester to stay in nursing school. If you can start studying beforehand, then you should. Watch as many YouTube videos as you can now, just to start getting oriented to how you answer dosage questions. Now again, if you're naturally good at math, you have nothing to worry about. And we already know in nursing school you should expect to study. Don't study for memorization, study to understand. Because the questions in nursing school aren't necessarily black and white. To help you out in nursing school, I would suggest taking as many practice questions as possible. What I would do is I would take the practice questions using the ATI test bank, but I would filter it to give me the most difficult questions. And lastly, but certainly not least, you may start to feel tempted to give up, but don't. There were so many times I wanted to just drop out of nursing school because I felt like nothing was going right. But please do not give up. Go all the way through with it. Pray a lot. If you feel like you don't understand, ask as many questions as possible. I don't care if everyone around you looks as if they understand and they get it. I do not care. Ask questions. If your nursing instructor is acting as if you're getting on their nerves, that's too bad. And also check out my website, Nursing to Nurture, and visit the study resources tab. I actually have like some free study guides and notes that I have posted on my website from nursing school that are free to download. I'll also be sure to link it down below in the description box. However, that brings this video to an end. I hope that it was helpful, and I hope it sort of gives you an idea of what you can do to prepare for nursing school and what you can expect in nursing school. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Remember to never give up, and as always, thanks for watching.